And that's because it's my birthday. What's going on, everybody? This is the Coverbandconfidential podcast, a podcast for cover band musicians and band leaders to learn how to rock more and suck less. In Atlanta, Georgia, I'm Adam Johnson.
In Greensboro, North Carolina, I'm Dan Ray.
It's not my birthday.
Friday.
It will be by the time you
when this
hear
comes
this,
out, the day of this coming out.
Yes.
Or the day after, yeah.
44.
Elder Skatesman.
Yes, indeed. I was bummed that last year I did the What's My Age Again, the Nobody Likes You When You're 43. But I do get to do plus 44 on this one, so yes. It's still adjacent.
Yeah.
An adjacent reference. So what's going on with you?
Oh, not a lot. Not a lot. Having a good Labor Day weekend here, just kind of chilling. Starting to talk with the band about coming out to some acoustic stuff. So maybe I'll have something to talk about there before too long. But, we're in this weird sort of interstitial period between two surgeries, and it's...
liminal space?
Yeah, very much. Very much.
Well, I mean, it's got to be fun to just kind of like fire up the group chat, though, right?
Yeah, that's good.
I feel like every time it starts getting closer to gig time and the band chat starts like picking up, I get a little excited. And it's been very active because we've got a show coming up this Saturday. We're doing a public live band karaoke for like a municipal deal. So it's at like an amphitheater type setup outdoors, and we are bringing in all the AV and doing all of that. And I feel like the live band karaoke thing is a moving target. The systems have been fluid. The system that we used for the Teddy Swims thing a couple of weeks ago is not what we're using this time, primarily because the client wanted to set up TVs so people could see the lyrics front facing, and Band Helper just doesn't look pretty. It's very like utilitarian.
Yeah.
So we had to use we had to put some zazz on it. So we are cranking up Pro Presenter, and so I've spent the past few weeks utilizing their import text from clipboard feature to drop a bunch of songs in real quick.
It's very good. You're going to engender a lot of crowd participation this way, I think.
Yeah, I think so. I think it's a cool idea. I think it's not a bad thought. It's just more work. And, I feel like as a person who's always trying to optimize, this is not an optimized option, but it is the best option.
Well, it's a one and done though, so.
And there's some things we could do. Like there's an automation component to it. We could literally set it to trigger to our backing tracks. I don't know if I want to go that far. We could do a MIDI network. I actually did a tutorial video for my company on how to set up MIDI networking for an app called Playback, which is made by Multitracks. And you could theoretically use their software to do what we do. But it requires like a membership, and it's a bit price prohibitive for some folks. But they had reached out a while ago about like, hey, maybe we could like do like a test, and never followed up with it. But there's a lot of ways to skin the cat, and so it's taken a little bit of the Stranger Things prep, put it on the back burner, but the immediate need is always going to get the most attention. So we'll do that. Adding some new songs this time. They asked for Chris de Burgh, Lady in Red, which I just thought was kind of like a random song to pick amongst some other ones.
I don't know. It's good.
I mean, do you know any other Chris de Burgh songs?
No, in fact, I didn't know that. I couldn't have told you the name Chris de Burgh until you just connected that dot for me. I had no idea who we were talking about. But I like that song. I've always liked it when it came on the radio.
It's a schmaltzy cheese whiz situation.
For the right era of audience, it's romantic. It's kind of a belly rubber,
or it could be like a couples only skate,
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
For sure.
Exactly.
So yeah, there's that and a couple of other ones, and the live karaoke is so interesting because it's one of two things. Either the greatest thing is about to happen or the worst thing's about to happen. And your ability to play the song competently is part of the equation, but not all of it. And so like prepping for a gig where you're like, okay, the song list is 170, what am I shedding exactly? And you just kind of like, I'm going to pick this part from this song to make sure I have it. And then, you're just willing to, again, like we were talking about last week, you're willing to negotiate with yourself on what is the level of the product you're putting out.
Yes.
So
yeah, and then that product, no matter how quality is, could be torpedoed at any
absolutely.
moment. And you just have to be okay with that.
So yeah.
Or elevated.
Yeah.
Or elevated at any moment.
I don't know about you guys, but those folks who offer it seems to be like a big hit. It is, honestly, I think we're probably 60-40 this year. Karaoke to the band stuff, which is interesting.
It's good.
But those are also higher paying gigs, and we make more money on those gigs, and I charge more for those gigs because it requires more work.
Yep.
So if you have a band that knows a lot of stuff and you are not offering it, may be worth considering. And that's pretty much it as far as like catching up stuff. I did want to shout out Adam Z, who is a member of the Patreon. He had just kind of like a passing question, and he sent me a DM, and then we ended up just hopping on a huddle on the Slack and chit-chatting for a little while around the idea of LLCs and incorporating and how you should approach those things. And it was just a cool conversation. One of the things that Dan and I talk a lot about is how much we enjoy like connecting with folks that are, fans of the show or whatever. But it's one thing to like get an email or correspond online. It's another thing to like talk to a person, whether it's virtual or not. So, he was like, I hope this isn't, I was like, we've literally given like 400 episodes worth of content away for free. Yeah. Like I can hop on a deal and answer your question. It saved me, however the 15 minutes it was going to take to type it all out. So yeah, let's get in the room and let's hash it out. So the Patreon community's been awesome. Got a couple of new members this past week and things are just on the up and up, and it's going great.
Yeah. I'm loving that people are posting a lot of gig videos lately, just casual, taught from behind the drum kit.
Yep.
I love it. It puts me right there.
Yeah, we're sharing the good and the bad. Mostly good though. I think it feels like everybody's on an upswing at this point. So that's good to hear. Other stuff that we've got going on. No gear news. No commentary. Anything like that.
I have a question for you.
Yeah.
Those Headrush vocal pedals.
Yes.
What's their power setup?
It is a 9-volt just center core adapter, so it could go.
An old adapter.
Yeah, you could throw that on a pedal board, no problem.
Do you know what its draw is off the top of your head?
I've got one right here. Give me a second. I'll find it.
Yeah.
I lied. I don't just have it.
Well, then this whole question may not make the episode, but I'm thinking hard about how to put my two Headrush, assuming I buy one of those, which I'm going down the funnel. I can tell when I've read the manual online, it's pretty much a giveaway that I'm going to hit buy next.
Yeah.
So I'm headed toward that. And I'm thinking hard about how to power it because the Core Flex has a power brick that plugs into the wall. So it doesn't just take normal power, normal pedal board power. So I gotta work around that whole piece.
I've got the quick start guide here, and it does say that it is a 9-volt adapter, but nothing about amperage.
Yeah.
I'm sure I can find that. Oh, I'm sorry. It's a 9-volt 1 amp. My bad. I lied.
Oh, okay. So very
9-volt 1 amp center pole, whatever. Center negative.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just
very
standard.
Common. That's good. So my Sweetfoot would run it fine.
Yep.
All right. Good to know.
There you go.
I'm just thinking.
For sure. And that's what this is all about.
Thinking.
Yep. Asking questions, getting answers. And this week, we're going to talk about a couple of questions. This is going to be, I don't know how long this is. Last week, I was like, I don't know. Is there enough conversation to have here? We were pushing like almost an hour.
We went long.
Yeah. Because we just got in the thick of it. But 2 questions came through this week that I just thought, well, we should just dig into them. And one of them is actually one of my questions. I would love to get a consensus on it.
Okay.
For me, it's I don't feel like it's necessarily about the operational side of it. I think it's like a philosophical discussion. So on Saturday, I got an inquiry on our web form, and I was like, do I respond to this now, or do I just wait until like quote unquote business time resumes? And I don't know if anybody else like thinks about those things, but I try my best, and I'm terrible at it, to separate personal time and work time. And even though like music is a thing I do with my margin, it's still a business operation. So it needs to be, attended to at some point. So as far as those of you who run agencies or multiple bands, whatever, do you do business on the weekends?
I'd like to have that open to the community, but I do have thoughts.
Okay. Let me know.
So just like you, my music business is a side hustle, not my only side hustle.
Sure.
Which means I'm doing it evenings and weekends.
Yep.
And I include the business of it in that. I mean, if you get an inquiry on the website, it might be somebody in a professional context looking to book you for a private corporate something who, their availability is 8 to 5. It might be a bride talking about their wedding. It might be somebody talking about a party. It might be a side gig for them as well.
Right.
In which case they're available over the weekend.
Yep.
If you're booking in bars, the people who are booking you are liable to be bar manager type people who are mostly working weekends as well as anything else. So that's not, their business hours wouldn't say wait until Monday. So I would say myself, I'm not concerned about keeping strict work-life balance in that question. I do about some things. My day gig does not get to, expand outside of its hours.
Sure.
But I personally have no problem responding to something like that over the weekend. I think that for the way that I want to run it, I think that's fine.
Yeah, I mean, in the moment, the concern is twofold. Like, yeah, there's a philosophical part of it, but like just logistically, if I am doing any sort of correspondence from my phone, I feel like it greatly increases the risk that something falls through the cracks.
Yes.
My ADHD has me so scatterbrained that if I see an inquiry and I'm out and about, I typically don't respond from my phone.
Yeah, I don't either.
So that was kind of the issue. And so what I typically do is when an inquiry comes in and it's not spam, because, most of them are.
Tons.
I'll flag it on my phone and then, just go back to it when I'm like sitting at a computer. But the thing is, I only sit at a computer during the week.
Right.
We're not one of those like laptop on the couch kind of deals. So everything lives in my abode here, and I don't really take it out if I can help it.
I guess the flip side of the question is, do you feel like you miss opportunities because you don't respond immediately?
Yeah, that's a good question. I don't know. I don't feel like there's any correlation to that outside of.
I think if you were, you'd know.
Yeah, I think that's fair. The inquiry that came in on Saturday, if I don't respond to it until tomorrow and they're like, oh, we already found someone, then there you have.
Yeah.
That's the answer,
Yeah, we don't get them all, so.
Yeah, I think it definitely depends on, the kind of band that you are, the kind of work that you do.
Kind of inquiry that it is.
Yeah, I mean, there's no right or wrong answer. I just feel like I had this kind of like push and pull internally when that came through. I was like, do I respond to this right now? And I obviously didn't, but I felt like maybe this is something worth digging into with other people. And ultimately, we're always after your input. So if you agree or you disagree, let us know about it. Coverbandconfidential@gmail.com. Leave a comment on the video version of this. Maybe this conversation and this additional information changes my viewpoint here. I am willing to hear everybody's perspective on it.
Well, listen, I fully honor the desire for boundaries. Mm-hmm. I think that's healthy and good and smart, despite all that I've just said. So,
It's half a one, a dozen of the...
Dozen divided by...
I'm saying
8.
This right.
No, half of one, a dozen divided by 24 of the other.
Yes, what you just said.
Math.
Okay, this next portion of the conversation was from our review from last week. So this was in the 5-star review from CJ, and I don't think I can pronounce his username. It's like Bishop JFK, I think maybe is the way it's supposed to be said out loud, but it's Bishop, not Bishop, but ship, like a sailing ship.
Like a ship, yeah.
Yeah. Bishop. So a by ship JFK. Anyway, all right. He's like, this was something that like AOL gave me when I was 13, and it's just been sticking. Fair. So for those of you who aren't familiar, we'll catch up here. Besides the hey, thanks for the sensible advice, yada yada. Show topic for you if you all need one. This may be a long one, but love to hear your take. He's in a band called Craig James and the Hawthorns out of Portland, Oregon. They are mostly an original band in the pop punk emo variety. How do you feel about a band that bounces back and forth between playing originals and covers at each show? As in some shows are cover shows and some shows are all original. Is this something that can work? Would be better to split off into two entirely different projects? So I think it's a fantastic question.
Me too.
And we TLDR'd it last time. I said no, but maybe, I think was where I landed.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'd love to expound on that.
I think I kind of agree. Look, let's just go ahead and say,
yeah,
original bands play covers all the time.
Yeah. My original band did.
All the time, right? The Beatles did.
Yep.
Beatles recorded covers. A lot of things that you think are Beatles songs are actually covers.
Yep. True.
Especially earlier in the catalog.
Yeah.
And I think a band that has maybe 1 or 2 or 3 records out, probably need some covers to fill a show. So that's the motivation for that.
Yeah, we always did at least one cover, regardless of the amount of time we were playing, whether it was 30 minutes or an hour and a half. If you're playing original music, and let's say you're doing it at an event that people aren't necessarily there to see you, or they're not there to see live music at all, the cover is kind of like the hook to bring people in.
Right.
So it is absolutely something that you need to work through, whether you deem yourself an original band or not.
For sure.
Because ultimately it's just an entertainment tool to bring people in.
Yep. When I was playing with that Dead-inspired psychedelic Americana band a while back, we did a couple of Dead covers. We did Scarlet Begonias and we did Friend of the Devil. So yeah, you're going to find original bands that pepper their show with covers. That's super common. You should just be doing that.
Yeah.
The question is, I'm a band. I have a brand, and that brand sometimes does a show that's all originals, and sometimes does a show that's all covers. So, I'm not quite sure why you would do that.
Okay.
I could see a brand that's built around that, and that communicates that, and that people can know in advance in your marketing what they're coming to. But that seems like a lot. That seems like a lot to ask of an audience. And I think having separate brands might be cleaner. And I reserve the right to nuance this with another thing I'm going to say in a minute. So what do you think about what I just said? I
don't agree.
Okay.
I think that it's perfectly fine for bands to do both. And to me, it feels like you're taking the work that you've done and you're splitting the effort if you're trying to break it off into different products, because by doing that, you are you can't realistically give the same amount of time and focus on both of them, because inevitably that effort is being distributed. So to me, it feels like people would know what they're going to depending on where it is you're playing. So if you have a date at a nightclub or a bar that typically has cover bands, then odds are they're going there to see you do covers. But if you're playing at a venue that typically only caters to original music, then they know. You're not going to go, like in Atlanta, you're not going to go to the Masquerade and expect to see a tribute band unless you are explicitly paying to see one. It is a place that you go to see music, primarily original music.
Okay. I think what you're pointing out there is exactly what I'm saying is a lot to ask of an audience, is to understand those nuances of what the venues do. And I think a dialed in consumer of live music may just have that in their bones, but that limits, if I don't know that, and I happen to find myself at a show and there's this band that's really great. Oh God, I really love them. I follow them on Facebook. So cool. I come to their next show because I think they're so cool and it's a totally different experience because I don't know what the venue they're at usually is up to. I think that's a lot to, I think it's hard for the audience. I think it's a lot to ask.
All right. The counter to that, of course, is just the model that every band that has made their way through whatever has done, which is that they start by playing covers. They get good by playing covers.
Right.
It gels the group, and then they are able to
move into originals.
Right.
Yeah. And listen, I think a show that is as that band makes that move, and I've been in bands that made that move, you go from a full cover show to a cover show with a couple of my originals that I really love, and I don't announce that they're originals until after the song, please. Until before long, it's more originals than covers, and we've just made that move organically as a band.
Right.
I think that's fine. Here's the nuance I mentioned a moment ago I want to add, which is for a band that's going to do that, or that is an originals band, much more, I think, than just a variety band or a theme tribute band like ours. If you're an original band, the covers you play are a particular kind of curation.
Yep.
I think you get away with deeper cuts, and I think you're making a statement with the songs you pick. Look, if that psychedelic Americana band would never have done September. Yeah. Right? They were almost exclusively, their covers were Dead songs.
Yeah.
But that was a curation. That was, here are the originals of the covers from other bands that inspired us or spoke to us or fed our vibe or something. And maybe you know them, maybe you don't, but we can kind of get away with doing a personal driven choice because we're an original band and because the audience doesn't expect to know everything we're going to do. So it gives us more latitude. And I think I can see a world where a band that is doing originals a lot could have a special curated covers night or experience that's maybe more than a night. I could see that working.
Yeah. The other thing that I was kind of thinking through is that original bands are terrible at marketing.
Yeah. Well, cover bands aren't great.
But if original bands marketed themselves the way that cover bands do, they would probably be much better off.
Yeah.
Because every time you read a bio of some original group, it's just this glad-handing, congratulatory, like nonsense. Yeah. It tells you nothing about the end product. It tells you nothing about what to expect.
You know how long that person has been taking piano lessons when they started as a kid. Like, who cares?
Yeah. Whereas if you could just bill it as something the way that cover bands do, you'd be much better off. But it's so hard for people to like disengage the artistic side of their brain for the commerce side, I guess.
Yeah, and I do think original bands, there is a sense of like artistry. We've had this talk a lot of times whether cover music is art. I don't mean to get us back down that rabbit hole, but there is like a enjoyment of my own sort of artistic whateverness about original bands that maybe leads them to think that people care about that kind of stuff, that they don't. Yeah. They don't.
Well, and just to think through, like, the bands that I know that got any sort of, like, momentum were able to do that. They were able to market themselves in a way that, that cover bands do, that you just knew what to expect based on the way that they presented themselves to the world.
Right.
This was a band from a while ago, and they probably aren't doing anything, but they were, it sounded like they were initially like a cover thing that kind of transitioned over, but it was called American Party Machine. And they were basically like a metal band that didn't take themselves seriously at all. Cool. And their shtick was that they were American flag stuff, but it was like their song, American Party Machine, is like literally the 3 words that you need to describe them, because their whole thing was like they're throwing a party. Yeah. Whatever gig they play. So yeah, American Party Machine, you're like, yes, those 3 things. That's what I'm getting when I go there and I see these guys.
That's great.
And it's so hard to think of original groups who have, managed to pull that off, at least recently, that I'm aware of.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean they're not out there. I just, not something I curate
Right.
or, keep up with. Maybe Sleep Token. Maybe Sleep Token's been able to do that. But like, you couldn't do an anonymous cover band like that with like lore.
Right.
That would be something. I mean, there are definitely cover bands who have lore, like Fozzy has lore. Like it's a fake backstory. Same with like Steel Panther. Maybe I don't know what I'm talking about at all.
Well,
I keep like, here's my thought on this, except here's 5 examples of that refute everything
But think about the number of those counterexamples versus the number of bands playing bars this weekend.
Yeah, billions.
Yeah.
Wait a second. What was that number?
Yeah, no, it was a number.
Earlier in the week, Adam Moskowitz, who's just, the celeb of all celebs as far as cover, but he's the Mike Schulte of
That's true.
Of cover band podcasts, I guess. Whereas Mike Schulte's the Mike Schulte of like regular
podcasts. Here we go. I got it.
You got it?
Yep.
So tee it up.
Here's what Adam Moskowitz put in the Slack on Thursday. Interesting thought, he wrote. I asked 3 AI models this question. On an average Saturday night, estimate about how many cover bands are playing worldwide. ChatGPT said 125,000. Grok said 75,000. Copilot said 175,000. Adam says, whatever that number is, it's cool to be part of and fun to imagine the sonic frequencies from Uptown Funk or Don't Stop Believin' or insert whatever song your band plays every show, reverberating through the time zones all around our Earth.
Yeah, it's very interesting to think that, like, there may not be a period of time where Don't Stop Believing isn't playing.
Yeah.
That's an interesting thought.
That's an interesting thought.
Between the radio, TV, or at a venue somewhere.
Yeah.
That's like just always playing. And yeah, there's definitely like a handful of songs that are that iconic.
For sure.
It's probably Don't Stop Believin' and Take Me to a Country Home. Those are the only 2 songs I can think of that like just are staples for basically anywhere you go worldwide for some reason.
Yep.
I heard Country Road Take Me Home more times in Italy than I ever heard it anywhere else.
I heard it in France. Yeah.
Yeah. They love that song.
Totally. Everyone does.
So, yeah.
Listen, I had it come up at a frat party I was playing. It was on their break, whatever. They were playing off Spotify or something during our break. And that one came up and the whole room stopped and screamed along. And I was like, God, now I have to cover Country Roads.
Yeah.
It's
probably worth learning if you don't know it.
You got to know it. Of course you got to know it.
And that's the funny thing is that like you have no idea what kids are listening to. So like my son is obsessed with Sublime.
All right.
Which is like, okay. And so we've got Shaky Knees coming up in a couple of weeks. And he's stoked to see Sublime more than any of the other bands.
That's cool.
Which is fascinating.
That's cool. It's all show tunes for my kid. She's in Lion King Jr. in a couple of months. And so we've been listening to Lion King, including bootlegged videos from Broadway.
Oh, yeah.
That she gets mad because they're badly filmed. I'm like, they're not supposed to be filmed at all. This is illegal what you're watching.
Yes.
But whatever. She will riot if she's not cast as Rafiki. This is, it's serious. So.
But putting the work in, making sure
she is. Yeah. Okay. Listen, the last show she was in, that was like a 1-week summer camp with a show at the end of it. And it was Wicked and Wizard of Oz. Mm-hmm. And she was a flying monkey in both eras.
Ooh.
So her monkey chops are, she's like demonstrated some monkey to the people who do this casting. So
that's funny.
I think we might score Rafiki. Between that and K-pop Demon Hunters, which you clued me into weeks ago, and
yes.
I'm now working through with her at in between other things. But it's amazing. It is amazing, and it's been on the top of the charts for weeks now.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, we very rarely have these like monoculture moments anymore, but somehow.
K-pop Demon Hunters.
This one, broke through the static.
For sure. If you're one of those like old cover band guys listening to us who doesn't have kids, still worth it. Netflix. K-pop Demon Hunters.
And the songs are bangers. Like if you like music, you will like this movie.
Yeah, and you'll want to cover them.
Our 15-year-old was like, I didn't like it. I was like, you liar. He just it's just trying to be cool, man. Yeah, it's just like, edgy, dude, just like what you like. Just like what you like. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, I think if ultimately you want to play for people, the music genre or whatever is less important than the marketing side of it. But of course, we're going to say that.
Well, I would say the branding side of it.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Originals, covers, do them both. Don't worry about changing your name. Unless the only caveat I'll say is that one with like the thing that you think about Van Halen, like if you went and saw Van Halen at Kazari's and they were playing for 3 hours, you were seeing a Van Halen concert, even if they were playing Pretty Woman or, covers, because
good point.
That was the whole shtick was like, I mean, you guys should probably just be playing your own songs because, like, it doesn't matter what you play. That's what it sounds like. Everything sounds like a Van Halen song when Van Halen plays it.
Yep.
So unless, like, maybe the two products are different, like they're presented different, but if members only started playing original music tomorrow, we would still be doing the same kind of show. The energy level would be the same. The stuff that like we would be prioritizing would be the same. The sensibilities would be the same. So I think the only reason why you would consider branding them separately is if beyond just like what you're watching or what you're listening to or hearing is different, but like if the experience is different, I think is the bigger differentiator.
Yeah, and that may fold in with what I was saying about a band of this type is going to curate their covers in a different way than a general purpose variety band. It's going to be your choices. It's going to be your things, and you probably have more latitude in this situation than I do.
Yeah. So if you opted to do one versus the other, I don't think you'll
here's the thing.
Go wrong either way.
I'm real interested to hear the outcome of however this ends up shaking out. So
yeah.
Please follow up with us. We'd love to find out how this works out for you because it's a real interesting question.
So again, the TLDR is no, but maybe.
No, but maybe.
And I'm sticking to it. Unless it is so markedly different than the other thing that you're doing, like I don't think it's worth the effort.
I think it came down on yes, but maybe not. Wasn't that your lean? I think I'm more no, but maybe, and you're yes, but maybe not.
Well, the question was, should you separate them?
Oh.
And so I said no, but maybe.
And I say yes, but maybe not.
Yeah. Okay. Just depending on whichever way.
Got to get that polarity right there.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. So what do you guys think? Do you agree, disagree, want to fight about it? Let us know. Coverbandconfidential@gmail.com. Leave a comment. 1.8 million this week. It could be 2 million by the time we hit 400 episodes. Like it'll probably be before that.
Yeah.
We're just cranking along. These Meta Ray-Ban videos where I'm just going into Guitar Center and picking up guitars seem to be getting, hooking people for some reason.
And it's a relatively low effort on your part too, right? Like,
well, you go in, you pick the guitars up.
Here's a guitar.
Well, you have to it's always trying to find a through line. Like, it's not just, hey,
the storytelling is still a thing. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you go in with an objective. So like the different videos we've done is the most expensive guitar I could find.
Right.
The best cheap guitar I could find. The most metal guitar I could find. The most 80s guitar I could find.
Nice.
And so, yeah. And I did affordable basses also. That did pretty well. So
yeah, good.
That's what people can relate to. It's like, show us the thing.
Yeah.
And that's all there is to it.
Put it in your lap. Make noise.
Absolutely. Folks, thanks so much for tuning in. It'll be a short one this week, and no less entertaining or beneficial or world-changing, just briefer,
Briefer, yeah.
You can just go on your way.
Compact. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Pint-sized for portability.
Denser.
Yes, absolutely. Thanks so much for tuning in. Couldn't do it without you. If you want to support the show, you can do it a number of ways, but we'll go and call it for this week. In Atlanta, Georgia, I'm Adam Johnson.
In Greensboro, North Carolina, I'm Dan Ray.
You've been listening to the Coverband Confidential podcast for the week of September 5th, 2025. It'll be my birthday by the time you get this. Bye.
Birthday.